We gotta talk about it. Gotta talk about it. Are we staying friends with people who pour into us? Or are we staying friends with people who don't have anything in their cup to pour? What are we really doing? This video is going to be your signs. Okay, this is gonna be your sign. If you saw this video on your For You page, on your recommendations, your browser, whatever recommended, it's for you, okay? Because probably you have been thinking about this one person and you're like, I don't know if I should keep her around. I don't know if this is good for me. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Just watch this video. If anything sounds like this girl that you are thinking of, dump her. Okay, we're gonna get into the nitty gritty. So get your popcorn, get your water or wine if you're over the age of 21, and let's get into it. Hey guys, it's Lexsa Marie and I'm back with another Pretty Girl Talk. So if you've never seen a Pretty Girl Talk, what are you doing? I am Lexsa Marie, like I said 2 seconds ago. But I talk about all things hair, beauty, girl talks, and lifestyle content. You guys, I had to make an updated video because my video from years ago, all right, like 2020, is still getting engagement. And I'm like, dang, y'all still having friend issues? And then I go on TikTok and TikTok has friendship story times of it going left, going right, going left, going right. And I even had my own back and forth with a friend. Well, it was really just a back. It wasn't really a fourth because I didn't engage with it, but I had a tizzy with a friend, and I think I learned a lot about myself and things I needed to work on, but I also learned a lot of things that I could have saw as warning signs earlier that would have prevented me from a lot of the situations that I dealt with. And I like to see everything as a lesson and something that I can learn from, and hopefully you guys can learn from as well. So let me just go through this. It's not a long list, but it's going to be lengthy in terms of I'm going to be yapping. I'm going to be giving some examples. So like I said, get your coffee or your tea or your water, your matcha, you know, wine, or if you got some popcorn, just get it ready and we're going to sit and have this girl chat. All right. So the first friend that you should reconsider having, especially in 2026, a friend that is probably toxic to you, a friend that you should avoid completely, is the easily offended friend. The easily offended friend. All right. And I think that it took me a while to stop doing this, where I give excuses over and over and over and over for people, saying, oh, well, I understand, she's come a long way with her insecurities. I understand this is going to take a minute for her. And, I just gotta be more mindful in what I say and how I say it or whatever. But I realized that I was not being a good friend, at least in my eyes, because it got to a point where I couldn't even tell this girl the truth. And I think when you have a friend where you feel as if you're walking on eggshells, if you say, hey girl, what are you gonna wear tonight? Like, I got this outfit and I got that outfit, but I don't really know what the vibe is. What's your vibe? And she's showing you the clothes and stuff. You guys are, seeing the clothes, and you see something that makes her back look kind of like not that great, right? Let's say it's her back, like her backside. And the other outfit looks good, but she's really hard set on wearing that other outfit. I'm the friend, which I realize to some might be a problem, but to others, they might appreciate. I'm the friend that's gonna say, girl, now the other one, I don't really know, but this one is T. This one right here is what you need to wear because I feel like it looks like X, Y, and Z, but the other one, it just doesn't compliment you that well, in my opinion. That's how I speak. I'm not gonna sit there normally with my other girlfriends. They like when I give them my honest truth because they know I'm not gonna sit there and come up with something. I might come up with it in a nice way. I might try to, say things in a very respectful and essentially watered down way, but some of my other people, they like cutthroat Lex. They like the girl that says, actually, you know what? Wear that outfit that you wore. I don't think you took pictures in it, but wear this outfit because this outfit was grabbing your waist and it brought this out and it just made you look good. That's the type of person I am. But in that situation, in that scenario that I'm talking about, if I were to tell that girl that her back did not look good in that dress, I would not hear from her for about 2 to 3 months. I would not hear from her. And we would have that whole conversation. We'd be talking, getting our outfits ready. We might even go out still that same night. And I'm thinking everything's good, you know. And then maybe the next day I'm like, okay, you got home safe, you're good, whatever. As time goes on, that girl just says she doesn't want to go out. And I'm like, hey, what's up? Is everything okay? Like, I'm the one constantly doing the spot checks, to assess like what's going on. Is it something I said? Is it something I did? Like your energy's different. Is there something going on at home? Like, are you overwhelmed? Like, I just ask a whole bunch of questions because I'm like, I can sense an energy shift. And then the 3 months will go by and she'll tell me, mind you, this isn't a friend that I have anymore, like at all. Because I realize realized this was not a cycle I wanted to keep doing. And I'd have to constantly reach out to her, right? And she would go, yeah, we went out in January and you know, you said that my back just didn't look good in this one dress. And you know, I really wanted to wear this one dress, but it's just, I just didn't like when you said that, right? She'll say like, oh, I didn't like when you said that. And I'm sitting here thinking, you had, when we went out, you had during that moment, you had all this time to address this, but it took me having to reach out more than once for you to tell me you didn't like that I said I didn't like the other dress that you wanted to wear. I mean, like, it was stuff like that, constantly nitpicking, constantly finding things to be upset about. And I realized that for some people, not all, some people, they look for small things to be big things because they're trying to justify their feelings that they already have about you, right? Let that sink in. Some people will inflate small things because there's big things that they already do not like about you. So if a friend, you say, hey, like, is it okay that, you know, maybe we don't go out? You know, I'm just not feeling that good. They're gonna say, oh, well, you don't like hanging out with me, or this, that, and the third. You see, you're always doing this, always doing that. Easily offended. Or the friend where you're noticing they're not really like supporting your page. You're like, hey, like, do you mind liking, you know, just supporting some of my stuff? Oh, so you don't think that I support you and da 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 da. Like, if they do that and they're very reactive, every time you bring up an issue or every time you try to give them constructive criticism, that is not a healthy relationship, okay? And there is something in that person, unfortunately, that is triggered by something you are saying, and it's not healthy for them to stay friends with you, nor is it healthy for you to stay friends with them, because you're gonna end up feeling like you're walking on eggshells. In that relationship, I felt like I could not express myself the way I could. And every time this girl asked me for advice, I kid you not, y'all. Like with that same girlfriend, for example, I would always ask before I gave my opinion, now, do you want the watered down version or do you want the real honest truth? And I would usually ask that not to be funny, but to genuinely know if they wanted solid advice or solid criticism, because if I give them solid criticism out of love, they might not always receive it out of love because they feel like everything is malintent, right? So just be mindful of those friends that are easily offended by every single thing, because you don't want that type of dynamic in your relationships. Something that I value, which I feel like kind of comes through in my content, I like to be very upfront, very blunt. I like friends that are blunt, will tell me, yo, Lex, I didn't appreciate that, you know? I don't understand why you said that to me. Did you mean to say it that way? Or like, what's up? And I'm like, dang, my bad. I didn't even realize how it came off like that. Like, I've had friends check me, and I appreciate that, because I feel like if you don't say what the issue is, people aren't going to know what the issue is. And of course, you know, certain things I feel like it's obvious, like you should know, like when you're sliding somebody, but you know, certain things, especially when it comes to communication, everyone has different communication styles. So it's really important that you address those issues within a decent amount of time. Like 3 months is crazy. All right, 3 months is ridiculous. But to address something even like a day later and say, hey, like I just had some time to think about it, but I just really didn't appreciate how you said this. You know, I don't know if you meant it this way or that way, but you know, I'm just letting you know. Like that, I completely understand, and I feel like is something easy to receive. But if you just ghost, you know, which I know some people do, or they just don't talk to that friend anymore, and it's something minuscule, it's like, it says more about you than the person that you are quote unquote ghosting. The next girl to leave in 2025 or to avoid at all costs is the one upper friend, the girl who wants to keep up with the Joneses, and the Joneses is you. I feel like y'all aren't gonna get it unless I bring up experiences that I've had. And this has nothing to do with any of the friends I currently have right now. Like my girls are very secure. I will say that, like my girls right now, and maybe it's because a lot of my girlfriends, we make the same type of money, or like we move the same type of way. We like to travel, we like to yap, we have very similar interests. So it's like, it's a little easier. But before, I will say having a friend who is in a different financial situation as you is doable. You can do it. You guys can still maintain a healthy relationship, because everyone has seasons, right? I don't think you should just base your friends off your income, right? But I think you should base your friends off the level of confidence and security that they have in their position, right? So I had a friend a while back who we were kind of doing things at similar times. You know, we were moving out, we were getting in relationships, doing this, doing that. And I felt like this girl was constantly comparing herself to my situation, you know? And I felt like I almost had to almost dim my light because I could sense that she wanted to feel good about her situation. Even though like her situation was fine, I felt like that she wasn't completely happy with me also doing something similar. Like for example, like when I moved into my apartment, like I was super excited. Like it just made sense for me, the location, the size, the layout. A lot of people think this is a studio apartment. It's not a studio apartment. I have multiple rooms, but I like to just, you know, film and do a lot of my stuff out here because I have privacy. But when I had like my mini housewarming and I had some of my girlfriends over, my friend came over and she was like, oh, okay, this is cute. And everything that she was talking about when it came to my apartment, she was relating it back to her place that she just got. Like, oh, my place has this and my place has that and my place has this. And I'm just listening to her like, okay, like I had never been to her place at the time. So I was just like, okay, whatever. Like, I guess, you know, like, I guess, like, I didn't understand the point of her bringing up her place and comparing it. So when I noticed that, like, I noticed she would do it with other things too. Like, even if it's an outfit, like if I am, you know, wearing something, like for example, I love to wear a little crop top. Get into it. I love to wear a little crop top. You know, I like to wear a different variety of clothes. And this girl, I feel like she was a little bit more conservative, but classy. Like it was like elegant and classy. And I liked her outfits. I thought, you know, we just had different style. Like we just had different sense in fashion. And every time we would go out, like it would be, oh, like, you know, I just don't want to do anything that's too revealing. You know, I just try to stay classy. I just try to do this. And like, she knows I got something revealing on. So I'm like, oh, like period, you know, but you know, I'm about to be out here, you know, doing this. And it was always like, not a secret competition, but it was just always a comparison thing. And I feel like with my friendships, I want to feel not like I'm competing, but they're inspiring me. I want to be around women who are constantly inspiring me because I feel like that's the type of pouring I want to be put into me. I want friends who are going to hold me accountable, have me inspired, which sometimes means that they're doing better things than me or the same thing or different things than I am. I just never really understood why it was always a comparison thing, whether it was how much money we're making, the place we're living at, our relationships, you know, and the relationships I felt like was odd because I'm like, I don't think we should be comparing our relationships at all because everyone accepts different things in a relationship and wants different dynamics in a relationship. So just be mindful, okay? Like if you have a friend who is constantly trying to look quote unquote better or saying things like, oh, you know, I don't like the attention that you get when we're out, or I don't want to feel like I'm not dressed up enough. Like I want to make sure that I'm looking like just as, like different things like that where they sound like they're comparing themselves to you. Be mindful of those girls because those are the girls who are secretly going to resent or try to even mimic your style. A relationship, your friendships should be celebrating one another, not competing with one another. The next friend that you should avoid or just completely get rid of in 2025 is the loose-lipped friend. Okay, the messy friend, the loose-lipped friend, and so they don't even know who they are, bruh, but they know who they are. Child, I don't talk about my friends with my other friends. I just don't. You'd have to literally ask me what happened to so-and-so for me to bring up something with my other friend. I do not like to talk about my other friends with my friends. Like, unless I'm just like doing like a soft venting thing, which is more about like myself rather than that person. And even then, like, I feel like it's girl code not to share things that your friend said in confidence to your other friends. You know what I mean? Like, I have girlfriends who there's things I'm literally bringing to the grave just out of respect for that relationship. Not that I'm saying I still want to be friends with them, but just the fact that I know that person really wanted me to not share it with anyone, so I'm not sharing it with anyone. Sorry, my camera died. If they are loose-lipped with their other friends' business, they are probably being loose-lipped with you. And I will give you guys an example. I had a girl, and like, I should have known because she's been like this since we were very, very young, but she shares everyone's business. Like, she told me about like her friends, like STD statuses and stuff. And I'm like, girl, is this something they want me to know? Like, is this something that they told you not to tell people? Because even I would ask her in the moment, like, should I know this? Like, is this relevant? You know, it'll be something basic. And this is her quote unquote friends, right? Like, quote unquote friends. She goes, oh, yeah, you know, he's really just a real one to be with her because, you know, she ended up getting this, that, and the third in college. I'm like, what? this is a family friend you're gossiping about, a childhood friend you're gossiping about. Like, she would tell me like all her high school, like one of her high school friends like is insecure and like always hating on people for no, like she would tell me all this stuff and I'm literally listening and I'm like, oh boy. Like, not that, and I never tried to engage with it because those aren't my friends. I don't know those people. And listen, this might be the Taurus in me, but I feel like if it's not on my itinerary of things to care about, I don't care. Like, I don't care about people who do not affect my life directly. So when she would bring it up, I'm like, okay, like, did you tell her this is how you felt? Like, have you expressed to her this is how you feel? You know, does she know? Does she want this information out? And it always just made me wonder, like, dang, the things that I tell her, whether it's good, bad, indifferent, she's running off and telling all of my personal business. And I completely lost respect for her, like, after that, because I realized, like, even if I say something good, she can twist it and make it sound like something bad. Like, even with her other friends, like, if it was something that kind of she was in the wrong for, she would try to make it sound like they were in the wrong. And I'm like, girl, but it's you know? So just be mindful of the friends. If you have a friend who gossips a lot, all right? Not like, oh, we're gonna talk about Real Housewives, yep. But if you have a friend who gossips excessively about their other friends, and you've even met them, okay? They are gossiping about you too. And I feel like a lot of people do this, no tea, no shade, okay? Because it's not you, right? Hopefully it's not you. But people who gossip about their other friends tend to have nothing else going on. And I'm saying that not to be mean or like not to be funny or anything, but those people tend to not have a lot going on in their lives, because when you truly think about it, if you had a lot of things going on, you wouldn't be concerned about telling your friends about your other friend's business, you know? And if you were a genuine friend, if you genuinely liked a person, you would respect their relationship. Like, for example, like the girl I am talking about, there's things I would bring to the grave that she's done. Crazy things that she's done, things that I couldn't imagine doing on my worst day. Okay, and I go that to say is the only reason I don't share those things is because my character, and unfortunately I can't say the same for her. You know, if she wants to say something and talk and yap about something that happened 10 years ago, she can. But one thing that I feel like is very, very important, at least to me in friendships, is loyalty and sticking to your word, which is integrity. And not everyone has that. I mean, shoot, not a lot of people have that in relationships. You know, guys will say one thing and do another, talk about you, do this, and that's just how people move. But you have to really stand your ground with people like that who just choose to gossip, especially if they're gossiping about their other friends. You have to tell yourself, hey, this is not a person I'm not gonna share personal business with that person at all. You know, it's one thing to vent, because I understand when a friend comes like, hey, can I just run this by you? Like, I don't know what I did. Maybe I can do this or that. Like, I just don't know what I did. If it's something like where you're seeking advice, okay, understandable. And I feel like as a friend, you should be responding with objective, sound advice, which not every friend does. But if your friend is coming to you with gossip, with banter, with negative things to speak about other people, that should be a major red flag and something you need to avoid by all means. The last girl that you need to avoid in 2026 is the one-dimensional friend, the one-faced friend. And you might be asking, well, what is a one-faced friend? Like, what are you talking about? No, it's the girl that you can only do one thing with. Because to me, that isn't a friend, that's an acquaintance. If you can only do one thing with a person, for example, like going out, if you can only go out, like to the club, that's your club acquaintance. That's basically a club buddy. That is not a friend. I feel like friends definitely have more dimension and should have more depth in a relationship. If you feel like a girl is only hitting you up to talk about her man and how bad he's been and what he's done and she's still done, and that's the only time y'all talk is when it's about her and her ranting about her man, that's a one-dimensional friend. Okay, if you are friends with a girl and the only time she wants to talk to you is when her other friend isn't available, you know, she has you as the backup friend, that's one-dimensional. That's a one need type friend. She only needs you when her other friend isn't around. That's the type of one-dimensional I'm talking about. You know, the friends that only hit you up for one thing. So you want your friends, right, to hit you up just to see how you're doing, just to send you a funny meme, to send you, you know, things about the show that y'all are watching, to send you travel plans, to send you advice, to send you love, to send you motivational quotes, whatever you may need. You want a friend that's going to do more and show up for you than a friend who's just there to show up to gossip or to show up to go to the club or to show up to eat. You know, you want friends that you can do a little bit more with. And there was a girl that I actually had stopped talking to because I feel like I was trying to build a relationship with her, but she basically wanted to hang out so that she could get into stuff for free. And I was like, huh? Like, I don't got motion like that, but I guess she thought I had motion. I don't know. But she wanted to only hang out for one reason, and I picked up on it, and I was like, yeah, no, this is not going to work. Or there was someone who constantly was trying to be friends, but they wanted to basically have an online friendship, like where we're only posting each other online. Like, it was just weird. And I feel like I want my friendships to have more value. You should want your friendships to have more value and more depth, and to not be one-dimensional. You want your friends to be multifaceted, whether it's, you know, your artsy girl, you want them to want to go to plays or want to paint with you, want to do this, that, and the third, not just, you know, do one set thing. You know, you want friends who are going to scratch multiple itches, if that makes sense. I know that's a crazy analogy, but you want those type of people in your life. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this pretty girl talk and cut some of those people out in your life that you probably heard in this video. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe so you do not miss another pretty girl talk. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.